You know, we've all done it. You're in the car, spinning that radio dial, cutting through all the static just to land on that one perfect song. FM radio kind of feels like magic, doesn't it? But it's not. It's pure technology. So how in the world does a voice in a studio leap across miles of thin air and land perfectly in your car? You know the sound, for sure. But I bet you've never actually seen the machine that makes it all happen. See, behind every single broadcast, there's this box of incredibly sophisticated electronics just silently turning sound into radio waves.
Really, it's a journey. It starts with a simple audio file on a computer and ends as a powerful radio wave traveling for miles and miles. So, let's do this. We're going to follow that signal, step by step, from deep inside the machine all the way out to the antenna.
Okay, so our journey begins at the very heart of the transmitter with a component called the FM exciter. You can think of this thing as both the brain and the heart of the entire operation. It's that important.
So, what does it actually do? Well, the exciter has two absolutely critical jobs. First, it generates a perfectly clean and super stable radio frequency. Then, it literally excites that frequency by stamping the audio signal right onto it. That's it. That's the moment a radio wave is born.
And look, it's not some big mysterious black box. At its core, the exciter is this intricate circuit board just packed with components. This right here is where the signal's journey truly kicks off.
So, this whole complex process really just boils down to two key jobs. First, it creates the exact frequency you tune to on your dial, let's say 100.00 megahertz, and it holds it perfectly steady. And that stability, it is absolutely non-negotiable. Without it, stations would just drift into each other's frequencies, and you'd have a total chaotic mess on the airwaves. Second, it takes the audio and imprints it directly onto that brand new radio wave. But you know, a basic signal is really just the start. Modern radio needs more. We expect more. We want things like stereo sound and that text that pops up on your car's display showing the song title. So how does the transmitter add all those extra layers of information?
Well, a modern transmitter isn't just one single component. No way. It's a whole system of specialized modules, or blocks, all working together in perfect harmony. Each block you see here has a very specific job to do before that signal is ready for the airwaves.
Let's take the stereo encoder, for example. Its only job is to take a flat, single-channel mono sound and split it into left and right channels. That's what creates the rich, immersive stereo experience we all expect from FM radio.
Then you've got the RDS encoder. RDS stands for Radio Data System, and it's the really clever piece of tech that piggybacks text data, the station name or the song title, right onto the signal. That's how your radio magically knows what to display. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, so that's all the theory. But what does it actually look like to bring one of these transmitters to life? Let's walk through the actual startup sequence and take this thing from cold and silent to live on the air.
It's actually a pretty careful and deliberate three-step process. First, the operator has to disengage standby mode. Next, they activate the RF, that's the radio frequency output. And then, finally, they begin to gently, very gently ramp up the power.
And here it is, the key moment, right from the source video. Standby is off, it means the transmitter's delivering power. That's it. That's the moment. The switch has been flipped, the exciter is now officially generating its very first low-power signal. And the proof is right there on the unit's own LCD screen. It confirms it. The frequency is locked in, and there's a power reading. A real, actual, tangible signal is now being generated, and it's ready for the next step. Now, that initial signal is perfectly clean, but it's weak. It's only a few watts. To cover an entire city, it's going to need a massive boost. And that brings us to the final stages of the journey, the amplifier and the antenna. So, how big of a boost are we talking about here? The operator cranks the power all the way up to 2,000 watts. That is a massive amount of energy, more than enough to send that signal flying for miles in every single direction. But hold on, before that signal can fly, there's one last, super crucial check. SWR, or standing wave ratio. The easiest way to think of it is as a report card for the antenna. It measures how efficiently all that power is being transferred from the transmitter into the air. A low SWR is an A+. A high SWR, well, that means you have a very serious problem. And this isn't just a suggestion, it's a critical safety rule. I mean, the manual is crystal clear. Never, ever operate any transmitter without a properly tuned antenna.
And why is that? Because a bad connection can reflect all 2,000 watts of that power right back into the transmitter, completely destroying the very, very expensive equipment.
But when the power is amplified just right and that SWR is perfect, everything works in harmony. The signal travels up the cable and finally it takes flight, radiating out from the antenna as an invisible but incredibly powerful radio wave.
So, there you have it. We've followed the signal from a simple file all the way to the open air. Let's just quickly trace that journey one more time to lock it in.
So first, the audio gets processed by the stereo and data encoders. Then, the FM exciter creates the base radio frequency and stamps that audio right onto it. After that, the operator brings the whole system online, starting with low power. That weak signal is then amplified up to thousands of watts. And finally, a perfectly tuned antenna broadcasts the finished signal across the airwaves, just waiting for your radio to pick it up. From a tiny little circuit board to a 2,000-watt broadcast, it's a pretty incredible process. And it kind of leaves you with a final thought. In this age of endless digital streaming and on-demand everything, what is the enduring power of a simple, invisible radio wave? What makes this technology so resilient? It's something to think about the next time you tune that dial.